Welcome, everyone, to level 81 of the Sandbox Gamers podcast, a podcast where three vidgets meet weekly to talk about life, love, and the pursuit of vidya. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm your co-host with the most, WonderRob, coming at you live, well, semi-live, that is, from Arizona or Southern California. It's your guess. And on the line with me are two of my best Arizona friends in the metaverse. The Scott Pilgrim of our podcast, Vactor.
Bread makes you fat?
and the Julie Powers of our pod, the always angry JeffW.
Yeah, Vactor's more like Matthew Patel, if we're going to give him a character.
My demon hipster chicks.
And I'm Lucas Lee. That's actually hilarious.
Yeah.
That's actually hilarious, boys. I remember seeing Scott Pilgrim in the theaters with Vactor. And when Lucas Lee is just walking across a parking lot and looks at his phone and goes, "That's actually hilarious." I had a laughing fit for the ages.
And I started laughing at Rob laughing.
It's such a stupid line. They're filling in dead space. Like they didn't need to have a shot of him walking across the parking lot. That shot it serves no purpose.
Yeah.
It could have easily been cut, but it's just him walking and looking at his phone and going, "It's actually hilarious." Stupid. I love it. Stupid stuff is something that I get a big kick out of. I've been watching, speaking of stupid stuff, I've been watching What We Do in the Shadows, you boys.
Oh, yes.
I've gotten to season 5, and there was I think it was the first episode of season 5 where they went to the mall. And Laszlo just in the mall to everybody, especially the vendor trying to sell him something. He's like, "Shut up." Fuck off. That show is so stupid. I love it. The dumbest stuff happens on that show, and it is so funny every time. Oh man, I love that show.
I think it's my favorite current show. I tell Vactor, I have a buddy that watches with me too, or used to work with me, and I'm just happier when that show's on. Every week I got, a good episode coming out. I know it.
Did it get renewed for a 6th season? It probably did, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything about it get canceled.
Well, it's popular. Anyway, not to make this a What We Do in the Shadows podcast, but consider a spinoff, boys. Consider a spinoff. Yeah. All right. Well, we're coming at you with another episode of Sandbox Gamers. If you're not already subscribed, hit the subscribe button. We appreciate it. While you're at it, leave us a nice comment. Do all the things. Like on YouTube if you're watching this on YouTube. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, wherever. We're 4,000 strong, boys, on Facebook. So we're doing okay over there. Not to brag, but we just let me just pull up the YouTube numbers real fast. We're sitting at 262 on YouTube, so I guess you could say we've gone viral, boys. I guess you can say
just
we're
gone viral.
I guess we're gonna get our plaque soon. The play button. I'm thinking somewhere behind me. I'll put that. So thank you everybody for following us on all the platforms. We appreciate it, and tell your friends or something, or don't. It's your life. We don't care. Okay. So we got a lot to talk about in terms of news this week, but we do have some discussion points. Here's a good one at the top of the pod before we get into everything. It says, should we still care about the Call of Duty campaign? The Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 campaign recently got a review of 4 from IGN and very similar reviews from other outlets. Here's a quote from IGN. Underbaked, rehashed, and cobbled together from multiplayer parts, Modern Warfare 3 single-player campaign is everything a Call of Duty story shouldn't be. Confession, boys, I haven't played a Call of Duty since the Xbox 360. Actually, I take... That was pretty good. It should have been Wowie Zowie. Let's do it again. Yeah, confession, boys. I haven't played a Call of Duty since Xbox 360. Yeah. We'll edit that in post, unless we don't. So, actually, just kidding. I actually don't remember. I'm positive it's past the Xbox 360, but I haven't played one recently, mainly because, and I've said this on the pod a million times, it's just, this is obviously, the main draw for Call of Duty is the multiplayer aspect, and it has been for quite some time, and it's just not my tea, baby. It's not my bag, baby. Yeah. Not my bag. Yeah. James Bond. James Bond impression. But what do you boys think on this?
Yeah, I think Call of Duty made a pretty big mistake in terms of, I mean, obviously business wise, they've been, successful. They keep doing these, but, I think in terms of giving like kind of gamers what they want, like, I think what they should have done, where at some point I would have preferred if they would have done it at like Black Ops 2 back like 2012, 2013, 10 years ago now at this point. They should have bailed on the campaign, making it every year at least, right? They should have bailed on making an entirely new Call of Duty every year, and they should have just expanded what they had, right? You could have evolved the game, you could have do your little seasonal stuff. And, WoW was doing that well before that. So we had an established, kind of precedent of a game, essentially becoming a service at that point, right? So I think they should have done that a long time ago. And I feel like, they're in so deep that it's going to rear its head at some point here. I mean, we're seeing every year, I feel like the Call of Duty review is getting worse and worse. And Rob, even though I never played the multiplayer, I mean, the multiplayer review on this is, hey, guess what? Every map in here is an old map. So they're actually not even, there might be a couple, but the big selling point, the big advertising campaign is all of the old maps that you've already played. So they're not even doing like, we all have like, Gears of War has Gridlock, Halo has its, handful of them, whatever, Blood Gulch or whatever. I'm trying to think of one. They all have their maps they're going to bring back and that the people want. But to just have the entire game be like, why not just remaster? Why not just remaster an old game and just say you did something at that point, So I think that is what should have happened to the franchise. But also, this thing's like 3 hours. This is a Vactor. I actually should probably go play it because it's like stupid short. Like if you want to play a campaign and get it over with, it's 3 to 4 hours on the run through. So I mean, like, which is to me, I mean, you know what that feels like? That feels like when you see a movie that's under 90 minutes. Right. You're like, oh shit, like this is gonna be not good. You know what I mean? Like odds are, not every time, not every single time, but usually the movie's not even 90 minutes. You couldn't get to 90 minutes in the movie.
Hey, wasn't Captain Marvel under 90 minutes? I mean, not Captain Marvel, the Marvels. Wasn't the Marvels under 90 minutes?
It was undersold, I'll tell you that. That's what it was under.
Brie Larson, friend of the show.
1 hour and 45 minutes.
All right, never mind.
So see, even they got to that, and I haven't seen that movie, so I don't know if it's actually good. I just know it's not popular right now. Let's say. So yeah, I just feel like if you can't, to me, this feels like a bad movie. Like you can't even fill 90 minutes of time, and I'm gonna, you can't even fill 7 hours of just. It's like just make it the same crazy shit you do all the time. Give me these, insane little set pieces. Like, fuck the story even. Just give me something to play,
Hey, Jeff. No Russian.
And even that, think about that, right?
When was
like,
No Russian? I think that might have been the last one I played.
2009, I think.
No,
maybe?
that can't be it.
I swear, look it up. Look it up.
I'm gonna
Call
go
of
look
Duty.
up. I mean
Modern Warfare
the
2,
last one
right?
I played.
Yeah,
I'm gonna look up a
Modern
list of Call of Duties.
Modern
okay.
Warfare 2 is 2009.
Yeah.
They've done a yearly release since 2005, and they've never missed a year. And I think
crazy.
that's remember we talked about it with Assassin's Creed. When they do the yearly stuff, I feel like they just don't have enough time to innovate and to add something new. And what was the year that they took it out, Jeff? There was one year that they took the campaign out, and it was just multiplayer.
I want to say it's Black Ops 3. I want to say, they took it out. They replaced it with another co-op multiplayer story driven, or maybe it was the one after that, like whatever was
Black
after.
Ops
Right,
3
Black Ops
was
3.
2015. Infinite Warfare was the next one in 2016.
Yeah,
and I think that was the space one, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Infinite Warfare. That was like the futuristic one.
I played Infinite Warfare.
Okay.
I remember playing that one.
So that was 2016.
That was Kevin. Was that Kevin Spacey before he,
Yes.
Well,
yeah.
Before we knew that he was up to.
Yeah.
I think Black Ops 4 actually was the last one I played. Now that I'm looking at the covers. Black Ops 4 that came out in 2018.
Yeah, and here's just two other things too. So one, we talk about the campaign. And Vactor says they've done one every year. It's like, I'm trying to think of there a bunch of things do a thing every year, but they maintain relevance, right? Like think about that. Like No Russian. There was one in Modern Warfare 3 where the little, I don't know if you guys remember that being like a big thing. It was the little girl got blown up by the car bomb in Modern Warfare 3. Like they had these moments that were kind of like, poignant, or had kind of at least very lightly had a political statement in it, or had like a moment at least, that was memorable. And I felt like that dropped off as well, right?
Is that Black Noir in this in this video that's playing right now? Did I just see Black Noir?
Right. And also
that's for the YouTube listeners. Sorry, audio.
Yeah. And the other thing I was going to say too, it's a shame because there was a point where in COVID where like they've done good things. I feel like they're just not focusing on the right stuff. So like why bother with a 3-hour campaign when me and Vactor could talk about like that zombies mode they had in the that last Black Ops game. And then what's the blood money thing we played? It was like the PUBG, but you're getting money and you respawn repeatedly in the map and you're trying to just collect as much money as you can.
Yeah.
Like we had so much fun. Like we would play hours and hours of that during COVID. That was like the last true Call of Duty experience I would say I've had. Everything else has been just like, a few hours here and there, and then I give up because I'm tired of playing it. But like they have like moments. It's just, I just feel like their focus is everywhere. There's 4 different modes. They have Warzone is like a whole separate game launcher. Like they need to kind of examine the whole board and clean it up. In my opinion, they need to just these people. You don't have to make this big game every year. Like make expansions. Like keep it the same, and then just add on to what you have. Like perfect the craft. I mean, you see it in like even small communities like Rainbow Six. They have a dedicated following, and they keep releasing content because people like the core game.
Yeah, look at Fortnite. All they're doing is just releasing seasons, and it's the same game. That's what Call of Duty should do. They need to pivot to just, all right, it's Call of Duty. And then every season there's a new map or whatever.
Right.
But all of this stuff on the menu is just clutter. Every time I've tried to play Modern Warfare in the last 3 years, it's like the menu even turns me off. I'm like, I don't even want to play this anymore. I'm all excited to play, and then I get into the menu. Okay, I'm bored. All right, I'm going to something else. Like there's just too many things. There's too many options. It should just be, here's the multiplayer, here's the campaign. That's it. Like I don't need all this other stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think they need to re-examine Call of Duty and just kind of streamline everything.
Yeah. I will not be looking at Fortnite. Sorry.
It's like, hey, if you have a Beamer or you have a Tesla, I just want the Tesla experience every year. Just give me. I have expectations of you, Call of Duty. Do the thing that you do well. I don't need you to do, something else well, let's say.
Well, I'd be more inclined to play if they did have sweet single player campaigns, because that's what I'm into. But I haven't heard or haven't caught wind of a great Call of Duty single player campaign in quite some time. So my interest has been dwindling every year. And that says a lot because it was already close to zero as it was lately. But I feel like if they made a really solid single player campaign, like something that everybody was talking about, and it truly was great, I would probably feel a little more inclined to dive into the multiplayer and see what that was like, especially if my boys JeffW and Vactor were on it. But I don't want to hop into a multiplayer game that is the same multiplayer game it was the year before versus it was the year before versus it was the year before, especially because I'm playing with all the sweaties who do nothing but play this game, and it's not going to be that fun for me at all.
Right.
So that's just my opinion, boys. But it is what it is. But maybe Activision should just stick to making Guitar Hero.
Ooh-wee.
Get back at it, Activision. JeffW wants Guitar Hero.
It's coming. They're bringing it back.
All right. So that's that. Thank you for whoever submitted that question. Unless
that
we
was
submitted
me.
that question. Thank you, Trent. Yeah. Good job. I'm looking at these questions of the day for future episodes. Would you rather get punched in the face full strength by Batman or punch 1/4 strength by Superman? Who from Pedro?
That's Pedro.
Maybe we'll get to that one next week. Pedro, give us a little bit of time to ruminate on that. So thank you, Pedro.
Yeah.
All right. So everybody knows that JeffW, our very own JeffW, is always DTF. What does that stand for, Vactor?
That stands for dilapidated fun time.
That was the first
DFT.
D word that you
DFT.
could find was dilapidated.
Yes, that's right. Open a book once in a while. Jeff, you'll find that word many times.
It's funny that he said open a book because he got the order of the acronym wrong, Jeff.
Yeah.
But it's
right.
down to talk fun, Vactor. Write that down. It's down to talk fun. And we're going to talk some fun starting now. What's been going on this week in video game news?
Okay, let's get into the news. The Game of the Year nominees have been announced for the Game Awards 2023, Jeff Keighley's award show for video games. And we've got some nice contenders here, boys. Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, Baldur's Gate 3, Alan Wake 2, the actual winner, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Super Mario Wonder, and Resident Evil 4. The remake?
Yeah, not the old game. The remake.
We got them.
That's a good list. And I think
that's highly competitive. I'm trying to think of, like the last few years. I don't know if there's been a list like top to bottom because like legitimately, I think any of these could win it. I know Vactor's favorite's Spider-Man 2, but legitimately every other one of the, Baldur's Gate might be the biggest. Well, I don't know about Spider-Man numbers, but Baldur's Gate, I've heard, since the moment it came out officially, I've nonstop been hearing about that game.
I don't know. I think in terms of numbers, probably Tears of the Kingdom is probably the king on the castle.
Yeah.
If I had to guess. Of course, I don't know that for a fact.
Well, with the people who vote, if I'm thinking about who's voting, I think Tears of the Kingdom is going to win.
Yeah. If I had to, here's the problem. Like Resident Evil 4 is cool, but also Resident Evil 4 is an older game, So I think
it's a remake. It's not the older game.
Yeah. But I think people are gonna dock it because of that, right? Just because it's like it's a different experience, but it's also a familiar one.
Usually when you say Game of the Year, I don't normally think of remakes. I don't put those in consideration for them. Like when I'm thinking, what is the Game of the Year for this year? I'm thinking about new games that came out. So I wouldn't even put it up as a contender in my mind. But
I'm surprised it got in over something like Harry Potter or Hogwarts or whatever.
Hogwarts
I would have
Legacy.
thought
Oh yeah,
Hogwarts
that did come out this
would
year.
have been on this list. Yeah, just to like, because I actually really like that game, but also I would have assumed they would want people to see, you know what I mean? Like, hey, we'll put
That
it
was
on
one
here
of the
for people to tune
highest
in.
selling games of this year.
That, and then, I mean, if you think about like other, like Diablo 4 is not on this list, like what a shame that ended up being. What's the, we got a Star Wars game this year, like that
That's right.
came and went super
Jedi
quick.
Survivor?
That's not on there.
Is that what it was?
Yeah,
Yes.
that one.
Yeah. I can't get
there's
those
a few.
names straight.
Starfield is huge that not being on here
Starfield,
as
yeah.
well. I mean, there's a few things on this list that I am surprised they would have put. And I like Resident Evil 4. I didn't play the new one yet, but like, I obviously would support this game getting nominated. But I'm just surprised at the stuff that didn't make the list.
Look at the top comment by Global Bob. Did people actually believe Starfield will be nominated? That's some serious delusion.
That being said,
well, actually,
he didn't even say the reason why. You said that's some delusion. All right, next up.
Well,
I don't agree with that, because it's like, listen, I don't think Starfield's a great game, but it's pretty good. I mean, I could see, there's people who like the Bethesda RPG games. Like, I know my brother probably really likes that game. I haven't talked a lot about it with him, but he's a big Bethesda RPG guy, and it's like there's legitimacy there. Like, it's not like it's a total piece of dog shit. Like, it is a solid game. It's just not I don't think it's as good as the other ones, but it's not crazy.
I feel like Resident Evil 4, even though it is a remake, sorry boys, even though it is a remake, it did revolutionize, in my opinion, what a remake should be in terms of this genre, because it's not just a one-for-one remake. It's the same story, but they redid the levels, they reset up the puzzles,
Controls. I mean,
they redid the
controls. You know what I mean?
Yes,
like
they changed a lot on top of the fact that it's quote unquote the same game, the same story, but they did a lot for the pacing. They took stuff out, they put new stuff in, and it was great, man. And I got that funny feeling when I was playing it, where I didn't want to stop playing it, where I was thinking about playing it when I wasn't playing it. And we all know that feeling. That's how you know that a game is JeffW's kiss. If you get that feeling. So I do think it's worthy of attention, at the very least.
For sure.
But maybe if there was a category like best remake of the year, which there might be in this, because they give out a lot of awards in this. I don't. Do you guys watch this? Like, did you watch the video games awards last year, or have you watched them before? They seem to give out an award for every possible.
I watch them every year just for what the fuck is going to happen. Like, what? It's almost like cringe. Like, I like watching cringe things. So I will watch the game. The game.
Jeff Keighley is cringe. I tell you that, boy.
I thought we talked about it on last year's show, but I like watching it because they do a 4K live stream. That's one of the first YouTube channels I saw to do a 4K live stream. But also all the announcements, like the trailers and stuff that the exclusive stuff that comes out. That's why I like.
And real quick about the Resident Evil thing too, before we go too far away from that, like. I do agree with Rob that it deserves some, but like, I think it, like, if that should be a standard for people, like, to redo a game. So, like, for example, this Metal Gear collection came out, and I bought it on PC just because for almost archival purposes. So I have forever owned those games on a platform that is playable, right? Like, that is why I want it. But it's dog shit. Like, you have to go in there to really get the best experience right now. You need to go in there and mod the game. It'd probably take you about, if you're a newbie at it kind of thing, it's going to take you like 30 minutes to 45 minutes probably to figure everything out before you can really play the game in the best way. Maybe an hour if you're super new, you don't know your PC or something like that, or how to use a PC. But like Resident Evil is on the other scale, right on the other end of that scale, where it is like, I would say these are the definitive ways to play these experiences, right? Like 1, 2, and 3, and now this 4. Like, I wouldn't even suggest somebody go back and play the originals, maybe to go get some nostalgia and just kind of know what you're doing. I would maybe go watch a couple videos, but if you're gonna just play it, these are like the best ways to play this, in terms of, like you said, Rob, control, pacing, how everything functions. Like they fixed a lot of stuff too. It's just, like they deserve praise for this entire run that they're on. They're on one of the best remastering runs I think I've ever seen, probably. I don't know who's done as well or paid as much attention to their old games like this. It's impressive, I would say.
So I guess only time will tell whenever we get to see which game won. I don't see when the video game awards are actually airing in this article.
Yeah. There's some other awards. Did you guys look at the other ones in here? They have like best adaptation, which is like The Last of Us show, the Mario movie, the Twisted Metal show.
Nice. We know one person who loved the Twisted Metal show.
Best score, best audio, best performances. Can you think of a best performance? Even the ones on this list, I don't know.
Not off the top of my head. I would have to go down the list of everything I played this year and really think about it.
Yeah.
But is there any major releases coming out this year left? Like, have we hit pretty much everything?
I think so. I think it's pretty. Yeah. I think it's pretty dry. I think everything's pretty dry.
What about
is there any big things in December this year?
What about that Avatar game? Does that come out in December?
I thought that was.
What's the name of it?
I don't know.
Just search Avatar game. There can only be one.
Frontiers of Pandora.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh wow. Yeah, they went that
hard. Is that supposed to come out this year?
Yes, December 7th.
Oh my goodness, we got one more contender for Game of the Year, boys. At least the Game of the Year that counts, the Sandbox Gamers Game of the Year.
Oh, it's not Tears of Pandora. It's Frontiers of Pandora. Sorry, I thought I heard Tears, and I was like, they were gonna just take the Zelda shit? Get the fuck out of here, James Cameron.
I don't know. Open world, but first person doesn't really work. We all saw what happened with Halo Infinite or whatever.
Right? Yeah. Well, I don't even know what else is coming out this year. Aside from that, I'm surprised you even remember that, Rob, because I knew the game, but I didn't know it was coming out.
It's a steel trap up here, boys. It's a steel trap.
Oh yeah, pre-order. Right. What do you get on the pre-order there, Vactor? What's the pre-order bonus for Avatar?
You get a saddle, baby.
Skins. So dumb. So
you get to have a Navi with a gold gun.
Yeah, that's right.
Instead of a regular
those glasses gun, that Jeff likes, those sunglasses. Yeah, those wrap around sunglasses. Just do the thing you did, Jeff. Subscribe to Ubisoft Plus for $14.99 and then cancel.
Oh, you're right.
There is that Day Before game, by the way, that is coming out, which I think had a good trailer, but I don't know if it's any good.
Now you're just making up games.
No, that's it. I swear to God.
I will be doing the Ubisoft Plus. I forgot that this was Ubisoft, so that's good suggestion, Vactor.
Yeah, that's the same day, December 7th.
The Day Before? What game is that?
The Day Before. You don't remember this trailer?
No.
I remember this trailer. I remember this being
open world, post-apocalyptic open world MMO.
An MMO? Get out of here.
Sounds like shit.
Yeah, I'm not playing that MMO. Unless it gets really good reviews, but probably not.
It stinks like shit.
Okay, so we'll be doing a Game of the Year episode either before the year's out or at the beginning of the new year. We haven't figured it out yet, but keep us in mind because we're the opinions you really need to care about. Not Jeff Keighley, not Mr. Oh, I was in Muppets Haunted Mansion. My name's Jeff Keighley. I'm friends with Animal.
I'm friends with Animal.
Guess who else is friends with Animal?
Yeah.
Who?
The girl from The Last of Us Part 2, Ellie. They're remastering The Last of Us Part 2 on PS5, coming out January 19th. What do you think about that, boys?
At first, I was not interested at all, just because it was so recent. And even with the first Last of Us remake, which I don't remember how long it was between iterations of that, but it still was too recent for me. And I ended up getting sort of like, I don't want to say bored, but it was definitely a feeling of, I just played this. So I didn't really want to get back into it. But this seems interesting, boys. This new remastered, first of all, it's only going to be $10 if you already own the game. on PS4. So that's a good incentive. But on top of all that, it says it has a no return roguelike mode, lost levels with dev commentary, guitar free play. I know Jeff's into that. Graphical
what does that mean? What does that mean? Am I missing something on that?
There was a couple of sequences, there 2, maybe 3 instances in Last of Us Part 2 where Ellie grabs Joel's guitar.
And you can just play the guitar?
And you had a real close-up shot, and you had to turn.
Okay.
If I remember, you had to turn the stick to hit the notes. And there were videos on TikTok and all sorts of stuff of people playing like Freebird.
Who's doing Cotton Eye Joe? Play that shit.
Oh boy, is that going to go in a short? It might. So,
also,
that's what they mean.
I wanted to say, if you own the physical disc of the PS4 copy, you have to insert the disc every time you want to play the PS5 version. So you can still have that $10 upgrade, but you have to have the disc in the drive every single time.
Ooh, sorry for the people who bought the non-physical PS5 after a physical PS4.
Also, no mention of the PC version of the remaster, so everything is just PlayStation for now.
It's probably a good idea. We all remember what happened when The Last of Us was released on PC.
Oh yeah. Oh, I guess you can also unlock instruments in that guitar free play. So there's going to be other instruments as well.
A saxophone, maybe. Accordion, maybe. I could be into it. Get a little squeeze box.
Another Jeff bites dust. Dun, dun, dun. Another Jeff bites dust. Ooh.
All right. Speaking of Jeff, he just left this podcast because what does that say? Can't start Mike and Cam. So everybody, we're going to start a GoFundMe for Jeff to get him a new mic and a new cam. There he is. He's back. We were nothing but we decided, Jeff, you'll see. There's going to be a landfall of money just coming at you pretty soon.
We're still talking about Last of Us?
Yes. The roguelike mode, even though I'm not that big a fan of roguelikes, they're fine, but it's not my genre of choice. But I feel like a roguelike mode in Last of Us could be kind of fun.
Yeah.
That's really what got me. Because I don't know if I have emotionally what it takes to play that game again. It's like people who watch sad movies for fun. It's like the people who's like, I'm gonna watch Fried Green Tomatoes again. But why? You know how that movie ends.
You know what I'm feeling like? Schindler's List. Let's pull it on up. That's what yeah.
So the game was great and I loved it and I thought it was a beautiful piece of art on top of the just being a great video game. But I don't know, man, if I really want to play the single player story again. But the roguelike mode seems pretty cool. And the lost levels with dev commentary. Actually, you know what? I wish more games would do that. Dev commentary is really cool when it comes in video games. Like I really love how they did it on Portal and Portal 2. They do it on a lot of Valve games. They might have even done it on Half-Life Alyx, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think you can. I think so. Yeah.
So I think more developers should do that.
Yeah, especially for a remaster, it's like, hey, like this would be good content to add. My other question on this is prime for, like, I know you said it was $10 if you already own the game. If you're on that PS Plus, me and Trent share the PlayStation Plus thing. This should be free on that. If this isn't free on that, then what is that service even giving me? Like, I know, because I think the regular game is on there.
Part 1 is.
Okay, so you can't even get number 2 on that PlayStation Pass thing? Because I think we have like the Platinum. We got the highest one because remember it was going to be more expensive. So I was like, hey, let's get a year of this just to have it and we'll check it out while it's cheaper. And then, like, I can't play number 2 on that. Like,
2 is not. It's currently $39.99.
What the fuck?
But it's not on the
Sony.
Platinum.
Get your shit together. Put this out. What are you doing? Put that on my pass, you fucking
Here's
idiots.
what you need to do, Jeff. Subscribe to the PlayStation Plus and then just forget you're subscribed to it and let them take your money every month. And then when you get the email that says thank you for your subscription, think to yourself, oh man, I got to cancel this, and then just don't. And then just let it happen month after month.
No, I'll have a calendar reminder for myself to do it. But yeah, like why is this not free on that fucking platform? Like Starfield is on Game Pass. You can just go play it. The new Assassin's Creed, me and Rob downloaded it. We went and paid the $15 for the pass thing. Like we did the month, and I beat it within like a week or whatever it was. So it's like, just let me, like, why is that not out there? This is like prime opportunity for you to put something on that service to make it worth it, you know?
I mean, there's nothing saying it won't be on there later. I just don't know why it's not on there now.
Yeah, wait like 3 or 4 years.
I'm saying, you know, when you run the trailers, right? When Xbox is running the trailers on you know, their little events, at the end of it, you know, on Game Pass, day one Game Pass, people cheer, people like that. Everybody's like, this is awesome. You know, you see reactions online. It's like great. And I'm just surprised Sony doesn't, you know, just put this on your Game Pass thing. Like, you know, your Game Pass clone, like make it happen. What the fuck are we doing? This isn't precious like new game territory. This isn't Spider-Man 3 or a new God of War. Like, just put the thing out. I don't get it. And then
they want your money.
And then on top of that, I sent you guys a little comparison.
Let's see this.
I don't know. I think the jump is like seemingly minuscule. I would like to see a full blown breakdown from like Digital Foundry or whoever are the guys that, you know, scope in on that pretty close. I'm just looking at it though. I'm like, well, like, I'm sure this runs at a higher resolution. You know, I'm sure the extra horsepower helps to a certain extent, but it doesn't look all that. I'm not blown away, let's say, by the differences.
It says visual performance now outputs at 4K in fidelity mode.
Ooh.
And then also improved loading times, more quickly get into the action.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
So I'm sure remember there being loading time issues to begin with.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I don't feel like there was a time where anybody played that game and was like, "Oh, this is horrendous," you know. So I don't know, but there is guitar free play, so buy up, fellas. You know,
you don't need a real guitar. Play free play mode. I don't know. I feel like I'm probably going to lean into this when it comes out, mainly for the additional features. I don't think I'm going to do the campaign. But who knows? Unless there's nothing to play. But I do have a giant stack of games to play, a backlog, so who knows?
There's also a new unlockable character and weapon skins for both Ellie and Abby.
Ooh. Do they have Ellie and Abby kiss mode? I'd be into that.
That's for Rob.
That's for Rob.
Yeah.
Excellent.
All right. The next comic book video game that's coming out, that's my genre, boys. Suicide Squad is getting a big map and live service plans. Rocksteady released the first episode of a new behind-the-scenes video series for the upcoming superhero villain game. You can see a bunch of stuff about the story and the gameplay. It's about 20 minutes, but this is coming in February, boys.
I forgot about this game completely. Like, this completely fell off my radar. Because remember how I was going to say remember how upset we were, but I don't think that's super accurate. And I don't think disappointed is the right word either. But we were just like, okay. When they decided to delay this game of like a week, 2 weeks before it was set to release. It was really
in the
close.
moment of King Shark holding a gun and jumping. This guy's running around with an AR now, and he's doing loot shooter mechanics. Like, what the fuck game is this?
That's what I'm talking about.
But it looks exactly the same. Like, they were I
don't know what they're thinking.
They got all these complaints about the live service model and how the game is going to be presented, and you're just shooting at big purple blobs in the air and things like that. And I'm watching this video, and it looks exactly the same. What was the delay? What was the 9-month delay? I figured, and a lot of people figured they were retooling the gameplay.
Yeah, changing it up in some manner. This feels like all right, guys, can we all right, everybody got mad. Let's have something else bad happen, and then we'll re-announce this at a more, let's say holiday focused time when people aren't paying attention, and then hope that people pick up our game when it's time.
Right.
This has like failure written all over it. And actually I think me and Vactor might have been talking about this a couple weeks ago. I was like, what a fall from grace if this pans out the way. I hope it doesn't. I hope this thing surprises me or whatever. But you go from Arkham, literally like the other week we're comparing, these Spider-Man games to the Arkham games because how good the Arkham games are, like arguably the best superhero games of all time, whatever. And you go from that, and then like Rob, I'm sure you remember those two. Like there's all these rumors about the Superman game they were doing. It was supposed to be Superman focused, and for years and years, even before Arkham Knight, they had all these rumors about their Superman game. Yeah, and they put Arkham Knight out, and that was kind of the implication, and they even kind of teased it a little bit, like they would say things and kind of get the fans going, whatever. And then, Suicide Squad comes out or gets announced, and you're like, oh, you know what? Like, a Superman game would have been cool, but if this is what you're doing, I'm behind it. I'm behind Rocksteady. And you're still like very confident, and then they put out the gameplay, and you're like, what the fuck is this? And what is also annoying too is just, they're showing, like, if you watch this 20-minute clip, like there's people at Rocksteady, like the main guy is still the main guy. Like this isn't, a washed out and depleted Rocksteady, like, team. Like this is the same people for the most part, and they're just making like shitty decisions now, I guess. I don't want to say for the most part. I'm sure the team has changed a lot, but I'm saying, there's a few of the head developers in here are the same people, and I don't understand it. How it's went from like one of the greatest franchises to a fucking loot shooter game. It was seemingly.
My favorite part is Captain Boomerang using anything but boomerangs.
Right, yeah. He has
all this gameplay. Where's he? I'm scrolling through it right now, and I don't see him throwing boomerangs at all. He's shooting guns. He's jumping up buildings.
Yeah, like what the fuck is going
on?
Show
me the ice boomerang. Sure, I want to see the boomerang gadgets.
Yeah, and they all have to have their fucking traversal, their Spider-Man like traversal. They're all like Harley Quinn is flying through this area like Spider-Man. Like, what is happening here?
They're saying that it's going to be twice the size of Arkham Knight. The metropolis that you can traverse is twice the size of Arkham Knight.
Mm-hmm. See, I'm okay with that. I'm really giving this game the benefit of the doubt because was it Gotham Knights that came out? Was that what it was called? By the people who did the Arkham Origins game. Now, I did not like Arkham Origins. That I got bored of that game pretty fast, and I don't know what it was about it, but it didn't hit like the other games did, and so I sort of had that same expectation with Gotham Knights, and we all know how that turned out. You can go back and listen to our Gotham Knights episode if you feel so inclined. But Rocksteady still has the points in my mind for the games that they made with Batman. And this is within the Arkham continuity. So that makes me a little more optimistic about it. So what I'm really hoping for is a great story within the game and the gameplay to be fun enough, at the very least, to make me want to keep playing it. Like, that's all I can really ask for. If it's going to be a looter shooter, fine. But, make it fun. And I'm going to at the very least, I'm going to try it. Like, that's what I'm going to give it to him.
And also, Rocksteady, there's not a lot in this video about purchases, about bullshit. Because remember, the initial thing was that menu leaked, right? The menu and all the buying and all the bullshit. And that's what triggered the, oh shit, we need to release this trailer. And then that was worse, right? So, like, I want to see more of that too. Like, how much are you going to try to squeeze out of me on this game as well? Like, that I just feel like this game, like they're not addressing really the big problems, and like people don't forget, like the entire headline when this thing comes out is going to be all about your microtransactions, like 100%. You know,
right? I think I saw an article that said the costumes, at the very least, are not going to be charged.
That'd be
so
nice.
that'll probably be earned, complete missions, objectives.
Right.
Yeah.
Imagine like in Spider-Man, if you had to buy all the extra suit, you know what I mean? Like that would be fucking annoying. Like, don't do that, you know?
So I'm sure we'll all play this when it comes out. Is there cooperative in this? I wonder.
I think that's the whole point, right? I think it's a four squad like shooter thing. Like I think it's interactive, yeah.
We're gonna be squadding up, boys.
Mm-hmm.
Me, you, Jeff, and Tommy, or Pedro. Shout out to our most loyal listeners. But yeah, I'm still looking forward to this game in a small way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm holding out hope.
Yeah.
Are you holding out, Rob? Are you holding out hope that Half-Life is going to get an update?
Oh, I've been waiting.
Well, wait no longer, Rob, because Valve's classic 1998 shooter, which is also free right now on Steam for a limited time. So if you haven't purchased it, get Half-Life right now on Steam. But they have updated it to include Steam Deck support, Rob. So this 25-year-old game, you're now going to get Steam Deck support, cut content, and more. It's a party, Rob.
I played this game too many times. Like, I don't really have that much of an interest to replay it again.
New multiplayer maps.
But it is cool that they did take the time to go ahead and add some new content to this, despite the fact that it is 25 years old.
Yeah.
I'll give them that.
Yeah. November. Oh, wow. If you're listening to this right now, you've got one day until it's no longer free. So,
but it's still only like $5 on.
Yeah,
I
think it's cheap.
It's not breaking the bank.
Give it 2 weeks after this, and it'll be $1.
The whole franchise is on sale right now. So check out that stuff, boys. And then our last bit of news that we got. The PlayStation Portal sold out in 2 days.
Woo!
The $200 device that lets you stream your PS5 over like a tablet with built-in controllers.
Yeah,
is going on eBay for about $300 to $350, and I've even seen it for $500, boys.
I saw a posting for $800.
What
for this thing?
Yeah, I was like,
what the fuck is this guy thinking? This is, and I guess I'll just give my opinion first, real quick, since I'm talking. This Vactor, and Rob will probably understand what I'm talking about. Vactor, this is like a popular shitty Jordan release, right? Like it's like,
whoa,
this is meaning
this is
Air
on it.
Yeah, this is a really popular item for idiots who, no offense, if anybody in this chat, I love Rob if he gets one. I'll no matter what, if he
Rob,
does,
pull it out.
But what I'm saying
yours
is,
out right now.
Where is it? No,
let me get it.
What I'm saying is,
the one I had a surprise for $800 on eBay.
is this is like, and it's this expensive item, and it's like a Jordan, like a shitty Jordan shoe that is just garbage, but for some reason, in the zeitgeist, let's say, in the culture or whatever, it's like very popular, or it's like this thing to have. When I think this thing's actually, to me, I don't understand, unless you're like a dad playing while you're holding the kids or something like that. I don't know what this is useful for. Like, why would you buy this? Again, no shots to anybody here. love both you guys, but I'm just saying, like, who would buy this? I don't understand it.
Hi, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. I don't own one, but I would own one, and here's why. I've said. Well, actually, let me pull back a little bit. I did not pre-order this. Despite the fact having the opportunity months ago, because although it did seem appealing at the initial launch in the description, I did want to wait and see, okay, like what are people really going to say about this thing? And I've seen plenty of TikToks and YouTube videos of people talking about it. So all of their opinions aside, I got the information that I want. I wanted to see what it looked like in people's hands. I wanted to see what the image looked like. I really wanted to get a good idea for it. And I'm going to level with you, Jeff. This is something I would buy. Now, the reason why I would get it, or maybe Santa, maybe if I'm lucky, Jeff. I've been good boy this year. Maybe
That's
Santa's going to bring it. Who knows? But if Santa's willing to pay $800 for it, we'll see. Mainly because of just my personal gaming setup and situation. It feels good to me. My video games, my computer, everything is in my office, right? This is my room. You can see in the background, I got a bunch of toys. This is my space. And this is where I play my games. And because of that, when I am playing video games, I'm pretty much tied to this room. I try not to play video games during the day. It doesn't always work, but I try not to play video games during the day. You know, when my son is home, my son's who's about to turn 5. You know, even though he is more self-sufficient these days and doesn't need eyes on him 24/7, but you know, I like to be present just in case you need help with something or whatever. I just don't want to be separated from my wife and my child all day in my office. But then I've got my Switch, which is great. I can play Tears of the Kingdom or Super Mario Wonder on the couch. If they need me, I can pause it. I can put it down. I can go back. I can multitask back and forth. And that it's that appeal to me, which makes me want this. Now, of course, I do have a backbone. So I could roughly do virtually the same thing, right? I can backbone it to my phone. I do need to get that adapter piece that Vactor was telling me about since I have the 14 or whatever the last generation of iPhone was. So I could, in theory, do this already, but it's the new that really makes me want it. I like the PlayStation controller form factor. I like the what is it called? The active feedback with the triggers or whatever it's called. Plus the screen's a decent size. It's a nice screen. So being able to go downstairs, hop on the couch and play Spider-Man and pause it and put it away and help with whatever I need to and pick it back up and play, like that's an appealing factor to me. And I know that's not for everybody. And I know a lot of people aren't going to want this product because it doesn't do what you think it should do, which is play your PlayStation anywhere. It's not the Steam Deck. It's not the Switch. You know, but in theory, you could play it like if I was at my friend's house and you've got a good Wi-Fi connection and your PlayStation's in rest mode. In theory, you could play it away from your PS5, but that's a lot of ifs and buts. And you know what they say about ifs and buts, Jeffs? Ifs and buts were candy and nuts. We'd all have a Merry Christmas.
That's right. You can also play it on your iPad if you have an iPad.
Right.
That's another. Yeah. You could have your controller, like your PlayStation controller, hooked up to Bluetooth. You just have to set it up to stand. But this is an interesting device. I won't be getting one, but it is interesting.
Right. Now, if I had my PS5 downstairs, that maybe my tune would change, but I don't. So that's just me. That's me. All right, is that it for video game news this week?
For the news.
All right, so it's time to get into our Let's Play section. Zelda Gate 2023. JeffW, yeah. JeffW, right? He turned off his camera. He left.
Jeff found a spear
because he knew we were going to call him. Jeff promised around Labor Day that he would beat Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. He has not fulfilled that promise, and so we are checking every week to see if this is the week he finally beat Legend of Zelda. Jeff, did you beat Tears of the Kingdom?
Rob knows that's a no, but we are coming up on, because I'm not going home for the holidays, we are coming up on prime video game hours. So I think my goal,
could be coming. It could be happening.
I am, knuckle deep in Spider-Man. Spider-Man right now, but
that's this deep for the viewers.
Yeah.
That's this
But
deep.
I think Zelda, because I am so close to the end, I think Zelda will be my focus this coming week. So I have some extra days, about 4 or 5 days off coming up here, which
You're
will
gonna
be
have
nice.
to get that muscle memory back, Jeff, because it's been so long.
Yeah,
you're gonna be fumbling with the controllers.
Yeah, and I'm definitely gonna look up like a Ganon exploit to beat him. I'm gonna look up an easy way to do it. You know, I'm sure there's some trickery that's out there that I can do.
You're gonna have to get lots of fairies. You're gonna have lots of potions.
Yeah,
etc. etc.
Yeah, I'll get there.
I too have not beat Tears of the Kingdom, but I never promised to have it beat by a particular time. So I'm off the hook. But it is something that I do want to play.
But you also haven't beat Breath of the Wild either.
Yeah, right. Actually, I ran into the same. I don't know if it's the same issue that Breath of the Wild had. I don't remember if, because it was so long ago. I stopped. I was right at Ganon with Breath of the Wild, and I just stopped. And I don't know if it was like, okay, I want to play other games and come back to this, or if it was too much of a good thing, or whatever. I just don't really remember. But I have 2 of the main missions. I have to find 2 of the sages. Is where I'm at in the main story, and then I know that there's a secret 5th sage after that. So really, I have to find spoiler, Jeff. I really have to find 3 sages on top of whatever other story. But my Switch last I checked was registering about 160 hours in the game, and there's just so much to do in that game.
Yeah,
and I think that's, and I use this word. Don't freak out when I say this word. I think that's the problem with this game, but it's a good problem to have because there's just so much to do in that game that it's very easy for me to waste 160 hours and not be that far into the main campaign. And so that's the only thing in the back of my mind that is holding me back from Legend of Zelda right now, because I want to finish Spider-Man. I want to finish Super Mario Wonder. I want to go back and finish Starfield. I want to go back and finish Fallen Order. And there's, on top of that, or Jedi Survivor or whatever it's called, the latest one, I've got a stack of games that I still haven't played that are out this year that I want to play that are just sitting in my Steam library, including RoboCop. Thank you, Vactor. Vactor got me RoboCop. And Alan Wake 2, like that's another one that I've got, but I haven't started yet. Like there's tons of them. So I just don't know when I'm going to get back to Tears of the Kingdom, but I don't want the gap to be so far that I just never go back to it. So I'm trying to be mindful of when I play it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to not do right now, especially because I'm so close. The problem is like, so I got into Spider-Man last night. I got back to where I was in Spider-Man 2. But that took me 3 hours, 3 more hours, 3.5, 4 hours. I'm after the point. I did all the stuff and I did a bunch of little side missions. Craven has come in and taken whatever Mr. Negative, whatever his name is, right?
Right.
Did all that. I did a couple missions after that. So like now I'm back to where I was. So it took a few hours, and I'm in the same boat with Zelda where, I blew my load, as they say, on a couple fights in Zelda. So I have to go basically do another few hours of work to fight Ganon if I'm going to fight him straight up. Like if I'm going to go in there without cheesing
meals and whatever.
Yeah, I gotta I have the tool. I have a thing that'll give me every amiibo now, so I can just spam every single amiibo ever and just get a ton of items and cook and do all that. But I also don't want to spend the time doing that. If that makes sense. Like I have the ability to do it. I just have to.
And it's a good game too. It's just time consuming, man. It
takes, and then like you have to watch the animation every time you cook some shit. Like, did you expand your inventory enough for everything that you have? Do you have any Korok seeds? There's just a lot that goes into it, and it's, at least the Spider-Man shit is just me going straight through the story. And you run into those boring ass, sneak missions like I did with the school. Boring.
Let me tell you how mad I was when I got to a sneak mission with Mary Jane and I was like, this is exactly the same, except she has a taser now, but this is exactly the same. They did not listen to me.
Way better.
I was not
man.
pleased. But I'm really focusing more on the side missions right now in Spider-Man 2 because
Because you're close to the end, right?
I don't know if I am really, but according to Trent, I'm pretty close. The last story mission I did with Spider-Man, and I won't spoil it, but Spider-Man is a maitre d'. And he's walking around with some meat in his hand. That was the last major story mission I did. And Trent, unless Trent's just trying to fool me, Trent's saying that I'm close to the end of the game. But I don't feel like it. I should be.
Trent's idle animation.
I feel like they didn't really give up miles of much to do in terms of a story in this. So I'm sort of holding out hope. But anyway, all that aside, I've been focusing on like taking up the Hunter bases and the Mysterio bases and all that stuff. Like that's what I've been doing mainly in the game. So yeah, we got lots to do. So but I still will be checking in week to week until you beat the game, until you beat Legend of Zelda, Jeff.
We're close.
Because it's in the show notes.
I'm not gonna make any promises, but we got some time coming up. I got
don't make any promises because I will call it out.
Yeah,
week to week, Jeff. All right, it says Vactor is playing Invincible presents Adam Eve. What is that?
So this is the latest superhero game that just came out on Skybound Games. It's basically a visual graphic novel, but it's a turn-based RPG where you're fighting different people and you're discovering the story of Adam Eve. This is like right before the first season of the show and then the beginning of the comic book. So it's also got that kind of like telltale aspect to. You can choose like, oh, okay, what's she gonna say? Is she gonna be a jerk or is she gonna be nice to this person? And you're building up relationships between everybody. So I have been having a blast on this game. It's like I said, very graphic novel-esque, very comic booky, and I like a lot of the story-based choices that they're making in this game. And it's very cheap on Steam if you want to buy it, but I made the choice to get it for free on Amazon Prime Gaming. So I'm having a ton of fun with this Invincible presents Adam Eve game. And if you like those type of turn-based RPGs or the Telltale games, this is the game for you. This game is perfect for my wife.
My wife. All right. Maybe is it Game of the Year contender?
I don't know about
that. Hell no.
I'm having fun.
Take that, Kirkman. Okay, and then it says, Jeff, it says Alan Wake 2 by your name.
Yeah. I don't know how much I played of that. I played through an initial opening segment of the game, I guess, so far. That's one that it's going to be tough for me to get to that one for the end of the year, but I think, with the time off coming up, it'll be possible.
All right.
But I started it, if the initial feel is, what was that horror game we bought like in the last year or so that was maybe over a year now, a little bit?
Was it the one with Ted Raimi and they're all in the woods?
Yeah. So
but I put that game on my top 5 last year.
Yeah,
but of course I forget the name of it now. The Quarry, yeah.
The Quarry, yes. So, similar horror type vibes going on here. That's at least when I started playing it, that's what, was popping up in my head. It's pretty good. There is a thing they do in this game that I know it wasn't in the last Alan Wake game. So it's this new mechanic, and credit to who makes this, Remedy or whatever. They have done like a whole brand new game here. Seemingly, there are different elements. There's this like, so you're playing in the initial opening part here. You're playing. It's a black woman. She's like a FBI director, and you're going through, and like here she is in the trailer if you're watching it. You're going through this, crime scene essentially, and it's interesting stuff. There is a part though that I don't like about it because it detaches you from the game. So you're playing the game, right? Like you're going through the scene, you're walking through the woods, finding clues, the action's happening. But then when you get to like something that she needs to investigate, you go into this like I don't know. I forget what it's called. Like
it's a mind palace.
Yeah, so you go into this room. It's essentially like a detective's room, and right there it is in the trailer with all the stuff on the wall. That is its own room in the game that you visit repeatedly to go through investigative clues, right? And it feels a little weird. It feels a little, I will say, like these bullshit Spider-Man missions that slow me out of the game and make me sneak around. So to me, especially with my limited time I have to game, sometimes where I'm like, trying to squeeze in my, the as much gaming as I can, when you have stuff like this that I don't like, I think it sticks out even more. But everything else is good. The game looks great. The spookiness is really like, this is like, I feel like I will finish this game, maybe not before the end of the year, but I do want to get to the end of this one. It's pretty great so far. They're setting up a creepy True Detective, let's say season 1 type vibe going on here. So I'm really liking it. I just need to get to more of it. I almost, and in some ways, part of me wishes like, and maybe I should do this at some point if I don't get enough time. I should do the quarry. I should watch the game on like YouTube or something, like somebody go through all the choices and play. Like that was like fun on the quarry to watch a little bit of the game. Like you get to kind of experience like essentially a horror movie, or a thriller or whatever. It's good so far. I'll say it's the typical, Remedy game, these like nicely polished games that they've been putting out. So everything is, on par there in terms of what I expected. I just need to get some time and play a little more of it, but it's looking promising. I'm not surprised it's on that game of the year list.
All right. Well, I do want to play it. I tried playing Alan Wake 1, but I just couldn't get into it. But I was playing the 13-year-old version, not the remake. So that could have been part of the reason I was not really enjoying myself. So I am interested in Alan Wake 2. And I do have that in my library right now. Just haven't gotten around to it yet. We'll see if I ever do. But thank you for your opinion. I'm looking forward to hearing you talk about it more, Jeff, if you ever get back to it. And that's going to be it for this week's episode of the Sandbox Gamers podcast. Thanks for joining us. Don't turn off the podcast yet because I got some stuff to tell you. Did you know Vactor has its own YouTube channel? That's right. It's called the Vactorverse, where he's talking anything and everything comic book related. Tell the listeners what's been going on lately in the Vactorverse, Vactor.
Yes, youtube.com/Vactor, my last name, Vactor. We've been talking about Loki. That just wrapped up the first season. Invincible, that is almost it is halfway done to the midway point because they're releasing 4 episodes, taking a break, and then coming back next year and releasing 4. So they've done 3 out of the 4 so far. So we've talked about all of those episodes. I actually also appeared on my good friend Ralph and James do the Invincipod, which is an entire podcast about Invincible. And I was able to guest on their show. They so nicely asked me on. You can see the stream on their channel or on my channel. We talked about the 3rd episode, which was this week's episode. We're having some fun, boys, talking about Invincible. And we're going to be talking about Scott Pilgrim coming up. Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, the new anime on Netflix. All the comic book things. I'm going to be trying to put more topic-based videos out. Rob has been asking me some comic book questions, so I'm going to be answering those questions in the Vactorverse. So check out youtube.com/Vactor for all those things.
Yes. You got to check it out. And check us out, the Sandbox Gamers, pretty much everywhere on social media. You can find the link tree in the show notes. It's linktree/Sandbox Gamers podcast for all the usual suspects: Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, etc., etc. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share. If you have a question for us, just find us on any one of those social media platforms. Leave it in the comments, and we'll get you your question answered on the show. We appreciate it. Thanks for coming. We'll see you next week. GG, everybody. GG.
GG.